They say memory is a fragile thing, that the deeper you dig, the more the past begins to breathe. But in Nkemba, it doesn't just breathe. It wakes up screaming. This is a story about mirrors that don't reflect, children who speak forgotten names, and a girl caught between bloodlines and buried gods. At the center of it all is Nari, daughter of the vanished seeker of truth and unwilling heir to something older than time. What she uncovers in her family's estate is only the beginning. A sealed mine, a mask with too many teeth, a lullaby that opens doors better left shut. In Nkemba, the spirits don't sleep, and now, neither will she. This is the tale of the Eater of Names, and it begins in the mirror room. There were parts of the Akanjo estate even the servants avoided. The West Wing was one of them. Nari waited until the entire house surrendered to silence. After the guards changed shifts, the last lights dimmed and Zino's aides disappeared into corners of sleep and whispers. Then she moved, quiet as smoke. She carried her mother's journal, a penlight, and a stolen key from the old prayer drawer. The moment she stepped into the West Wing, the air changed. It was colder, not mechanically, spiritually. Something deeper was wrong here. She walked past shuttered, identical doors until she reached the one at the far end. Barely visible, an inscription was carved into the wood. He who sees himself devours himself. The key turned with reluctance. The door creaked open. Darkness met her. She stepped inside. The door shut behind her. The penlight flickered. Mirrors covered the walls. Tall, full length, rimmed in bone and brass. Even the floor was obsidian, reflecting endless distorted versions of herself. The light bounced in infinite recursion. Each mirror showed her, but never quite as she was. Some younger, some older, some bleeding, some crowned. One wore the mouth mask of the Eater. She stepped back. The mirrors followed. They didn't stay fixed. They turned like heads. One cracked, then another. A low hum rose, not from the air, but from behind the glass. She ran. But in the largest mirror, her reflection didn't follow. It smiled. She froze. The smile stretched. Unnatural. Wrong. Its eyes were empty sockets, dripping molten gold. Then it spoke. She fed me her name to protect you, but you keep digging. Nari's chest seized. The floor shifted. A pit opened beneath her, chained, breathing. Her reflection screamed. Every mirror shattered. Silence. She stood in the hallway again, breath shaking. The door behind her was closed. Had it happened? The journal in her hands now bore an ink smear. Not hers. Don't trust the reflections. They know what you want. Far away in Zino's private chambers, he stood before a single dustless mirror framed in bone. It rippled. The red-eyed twin stood behind him. She saw it, said Zuberi. She won't sleep now, added Sika. Zino's eyes remained on the glass. She's beginning to understand, but not fast enough. The mirror shimmered. It showed Zino, wearing a crown of fire, and weeping. The outskirts of Nkemba began to whisper. The air grew strange. Children awoke screaming with no memory of dreams. Chickens refused their coops. A goat stood upright, spoke a name no one knew, and dropped dead. Old women scattered ash at their doors. Old men slept with knives. It wasn't a curse. It was a memory rising from the ground. In the village of Quapata, 3 kilometers from the sealed gold mine, rumors drifted like smoke. A baby born with teeth. A fisherman's son vanished into the river. Only his voice returned at night, echoing through the trees. The dreams followed, shared, always the same. A red tree, a pit, a girl with smoke in her mouth, and behind her, something in gold chains with eyes of bone, whispering ancestral names. Some blamed mine gases. Then the masks began to crack. Ceremonial relics passed through generations, split without cause. The elders gathered in the night lodge. For the first time in 20 years, they summoned the bone reader. The cowries were cast. The answer was a single word: awakening. On the balcony of the Akanjo estate, Zino sipped bitter cola wine. General Kalume placed a thick scroll on the table. "They're stirring," he said. "Too many reports to ignore." "Good," Zino replied. "You want the spirits restless?" "I want her restless. She thinks she's alone in hearing them." He unrolled the scroll, a detailed map of the mine and tunnels, marked in red ink by their mother. "If we proceed," Kalume warned, "there's no turning back." There never was. In the heart of Nkemba, Nari sat across from Aika. The journal lay open. "I know what I saw," Nari whispered, "in the mirror room, and now the villages." "You think it's connected?" "I know it is." Aika hesitated, then placed a torn photograph on the table. Nari's mother, 2 children, a tree, the cola tree, and behind them, barely visible in shadow, a hand. but no one else had been there. The mine was silent as the descent began, 42 minutes down the sealed shaft. No one had been this deep since the incident. Zino wore no helmet, just a vest, gloves, and his mother's map. Kalume stood beside him. Old sigils watched them. Melted bone shrines passed in silence. "Stop here," Zino ordered. Level 9. A wooden door, ancient and iron-bound, bore the Ouroboros. Zino placed his hand against the symbol. The wall cracked open. Behind it, a chamber, domed and carved with faceless royalty. At its center, a pit sealed with 7 iron chains. Kalume lit the brazier. One chain twitched. Zino approached. "The bloodline remembers," he said, slicing his palm. Blood dripped into the pit. One chain cracked. Kalume said nothing. "This is legacy," Zino replied. The pit whispered. "A name, not his. Nari." Tene jolted from her trance. The bones on her mat had formed a spiral. A pit. The Ouroboros. "They've begun to dig," she murmured. At dawn, they found the child, barefoot, silent, sitting in a dry fountain, surrounded by chalk symbols drawn by her own hands. She spoke only to the statue, a stone lion with blood smeared across its mouth. At its feet, a mask, rough bark, charcoal paint, broken teeth, a mask Nari had seen before. The Eater of Names. "She's drawing what she sees," Aika said as Nari examined photos of the fountain. The child hadn't spoken since. She kept drawing. A tall, masked figure with too many mouths. "She's not just seeing it," Nari whispered. "She's channeling it." Aika handed her a sketch from the girl. It was the pit, the chains, and Nari's face. In the hospital, the child sat cross-legged, eyes like wells. She pulled a folded paper from under her mattress. A name written backwards, Oragina, reversed Anijaro. One of the oldest Ekanjo names. Beneath it, the Ouroboros. Every mirror in the hallway shattered. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. The child began to hum, a lullaby, Nari's mother's lullaby. In the bunker beneath the estate, Kalume lit the final torch. Ancient weapons lined the walls, war masks sealed in resin. This wasn't a shelter, it was a prison. Zino stood blood-eyed from sleepless nights. The chain cracked. Not from age, Kalume confirmed. Zino faced the shrine. The serpent carved into gold-veined stone now had open eyes. "I told you not to go back," Kalume muttered. "The seal is unraveling. If we don't control the awakening, it controls us." Kalume marked Zino's face with ash, cut into his own arm. Blood filled the bowl. 3 names whispered. Ash sizzled. Smoke curled. Something answered. From below, chains rattled. The sky over Nkemba fractured. Not lightning, a crack, like glass splitting across the clouds. Birds dropped. Water turned brown. Statues wept black. In the hospital, the child spoke. It remembers. Tene dropped the bone dice. They rolled blank. No fates, no names, only void. The Eater walks. The spirit mask in the corner cracked. Its ashes spelled a name. Nari. Nari woke with a gasp. Her mother's journal lay open on the floor, its pages fluttering in wind that did not exist. A single phrase repeated over and over in fresh ink. He opened the ground. Now the ground opens him.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.